One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. It's freaking Friday morning. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their beautiful Friday morning so far. I know that we are, and there's not a single cloud in the sky. It looks beautiful right now. Hopefully everyone's doing fantastic. I know that we are on this side of the internet for damn sure. We have a lot to get through, actually. Today is one of those big days. We have a lot to discuss. We're going to be speeding through when we do this shit. We're going to bring it up to like 1.5 times playback speed because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of breaking news, a lot of updates. So stick around for all of that. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and make sure we do our proper call to actions real quick. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Listen, it's free. It's free, okay? It's free. I know it's very laborious, but it helps out the show immensely. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, it's also free. Just letting you guys know. Just saying. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. This is exactly how we get to speak the way that we do, is because we're 100% funded by you guys and we don't ever cater to views. So it feels ultra good. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time, man. This is a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And Naomi is going to be dropping the Discord link periodically while we're hanging out this beautiful morning. So make sure you guys hang out with us in the Discord. And last but not least, of course, every super chat, super sticker, super chat, gifted membership signups, all these things are, of course, going to be shouted out live and presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that brutal YouTube 30% cut and another 30% cut from Apple, so that's 60%, fuck all that shit. We have these platforms right here that you guys can kindly donate to. And of course, I will read out your message and shout you out. You know what I mean? Feels ultra freaking good, dude. And I got something for you.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. He says, yeah, fuck Apple. Orange gang, cuh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feels ultra good. Good to see everyone up in here, man. Hopefully everyone's doing fantastic. We got Hardwire. We got Lappy up in the building. We got Naomi. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. We got freaking Tiffany in the building, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you guys. Beezer was the very first person to donate even before the show had even started. He gifted out a membership, trying to gift it out to Frank, but unfortunately he didn't get it. But he still gifted out a membership, so I very much appreciate that. And why won't it show on my end? It won't show. I have to scroll all the way back up. Oh, it's because it was before the show. It's not counting it yet. But anyways, I very much appreciate that, Beezer. Thank you very much for the gifted membership. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Brother Steve as well, man. Good to see you. We got Brother Frank as well. We got Obi Joe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and enjoying the morning together. We got 13, my man. Good AM Breakfast Club. Mr. Mike Serg, TGIF. That's right. Thank God it's Friday. That's right. Who been bumping the new Kanye song? Not me. I think I heard it on like some sort of like meme or something like that. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, this is bunk. Like, at least make it banging, you know? We got Adriano. Good morning to you as well. Hopefully you're doing good. All right. So, guys, yes, and I called it out. I shouted you out, Lee. I shouted out you yesterday. Absolutely. All right. Back to this. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the gnarliness of the world news. You know what I mean? We have a lot to discuss, a lot to get through. So I'm going to go ahead and basically get the playback speed ready for us already. And then once it goes into someone slower, we'll just bring up the playback speed. We got a lot to skip through, though.
Now from Fox, we made it to Friday. It's May 23rd.
We did make it.
I'm Francine here with you for the next few hours to give you all of your breaking news alerts, top stories, and of course your live events of the day. And as we come on the broadcast this Friday morning, we do begin with the very latest as it relates to the Trump presidency. It takes us out to Rome, giving you a live look there. Here at 7:47 on the East Coast this Friday morning, as we are following developing news, Iran and the United States preparing for a fifth round of
Okay, so this is the fifth round of negotiations with Iran and the U.S. Regards to nuclear negotiations. So it's going to be interesting.
Negotiations over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program this Friday in Rome.
Tehran, or however you say it, Tehran, is their main, like, major capital, you know.
As you see on your screen, with enrichment emerging as a key issue. U.S. officials up to President Donald Trump insist Iran cannot continue to enrich uranium at all in any deal that could see sanctions lifted on Tehran's struggling economy. Iran's foreign minister insisting early this Friday online that no enrichment would mean, quote, we do not have a deal. The U.S. will begin representing the talks by Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff and Michael Anton, the State Department's policy planning director. While authorities haven't offered a location for the talks, another round in Italy's capital took place at the Omani embassy there, which is what you're seeing on your screen. We're learning from the Associated Press this morning, the talks seek to limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of some of the crushing economic sanctions the U.S. has imposed on the Islamic Republic, closing in on...
Okay, so they want to be able to get rid of sanctions. But in order to do that, we got to go ahead and do some nuclear negotiations.
Half a century. President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened to unleash...
We got Mount High, by the way. Good morning, kind sir. And you know what I got ready that I pre-rolled right before the show? Shit, you know I'm ready to go at all times. Good morning to you guys, by the way. For everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their Friday.
Hit that like button. Iran's program if the deal is not reached. Iranian officials increasingly warn they could pursue a nuclear weapon with their stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels. As we continue to learn more, we do learn from AP it is likely it would still take Iran months to make a worthy bomb. That coming from experts sharing their expertise with the Associated Press. We continue to learn enrichment remains the key point of contention this Friday morning. Witkoff at one point suggested Iran could enrich uranium at 3.67%, then later began saying all Iranian enrichment must stop. That position on the American side has hardened over time. Asked about the negotiation.
Okay, wait.
State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said, quote, we believe that we are going to succeed in the talks and on Washington's push.
Well, I hope so. I mean, after 5 freaking sit downs, I mean, hopefully. So as you guys see that I have titled today, Trump new executive orders is to be signed today. Now, what are we talking about? This is actually into regards to nuclear and to, for energy, using nuclear, which is actually a very safe, it's actually one of the best ways to get energy. And people, you got the green people out there that be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just fucking said that. No, listen, nuclear is actually fantastic. It's fantastic. I don't, these motherfuckers, they think it's like an actual nuclear bomb, which, I mean, listen, you don't want to bomb the fucking place. Yeah, I mean, of course there can be problems, but you need to upkeep your shit, obviously. So I'm not really sure why it's always been some failure because it was like neglected for 30 years. You know what I mean?
As he has the very latest this morning from Washington.
For the White House, this represents a further pivot away from renewables.
What's up, Steve Posey? By the way, good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you guys are all doing well.
Other energy sources with a focus today on nuclear. Once seen as the future of energy production before largely stagnating, nuclear power in the U.S. could be in for a big boost today.
Nuclear is going to play a key role going forward.
The Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, just yesterday was promoting a nuclear energy push. And now Reuters reporting that President Trump this morning may sign executive orders to give nuclear energy production,
which will be later on this morning. But this is just to let you guys know what is happening, or not this morning, this afternoon. But it's to let you guys know what is to come today while he sits down and does his executive orders.
A new leg up.
We are lagging. If we're behind China in AI, our sovereignty, our national defense is at risk.
Last week, Energy Secretary Chris Wright told Congress that new energy sources are desperately needed for the power-hungry development of artificial intelligence. The U.S. may be losing ground to China when it comes.
By the way, real quick, my brother Lee Lance came in hot with the 2 spot, by the way, and he says Lee and Bugger Picker. Oh, Booger. You did spell it Bugger, by the way, not Booger. Hey, but I know what you're getting at. So thank you very much for the dues paid, kind sir. I very much appreciate that.
To nuclear, but building new plants in the U.S. can be extremely difficult. Look for today's orders to try to pare back a thicket of federal regulations. At the same time, Democrats accuse the administration of making too many cuts at the Department of Energy, and some point to safety concerns.
2 of the 5 worst commercial nuclear power incidents in our nation's history occurred in Ohio's nuclear north that I represent.
Either way, though, this represents a long-term goal for the White House.
Even though they're moving at a rapid pace, it's really in the 2030s before we're going to start to see significant scale coming from nuclear.
And the White House is expected to really push the private sector to do the heavy lifting here with some support from the federal government when it comes to new nuclear power plants. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
All right, Doug, thank you so much for that detailed breakdown. And as we further look at today's events that you can expect to see here on Live Now from Fox. Again, if you're just now tuning in.
At least you guys know what is to come this morning. So now we're going to go ahead and skip through some of this BS that they are going and talking about here, but we're going to go ahead and bring us right into breaking news into regards to Apple, actually, this morning.
8:13 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Gina Francine. Right now, just into our Live Now from Fox newsroom, we are getting some breaking news as it relates to the Trump presidency. I want you to take a good look at your screen. The very latest coming in as we're learning President Donald Trump this Friday has threatened to put.
President Trump threatens 25% import tax on Apple products. Oh boy.
A 25% tariff on Apple products unless iPhones are manufactured in the U.S. AP reporting that the threat delivered over social media could dramatically increase the price of iPhones, potentially hurting sales and the profits of one of America's.
25% import tax is not the biggest end all be all, like as if your $1,300 phone is going to be now like $2,700. Like, relax.
Leading technology companies. The company now joins Amazon, Walmart.
Just force these motherfuckers to make this shit, and that's exactly what's happening. He's forcing these guys, and if you're not going to do it, well, this is what we're going to have to negotiate at. You know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is.
And other major companies as being in the White House's crosshairs as they try to respond to the uncertainty.
Oh, yeah. Hardwire, 100%. There are 2 in particular things that you cannot really talk about with YouTube taking it, off and censoring. It's every time you talk about Iran or you talk about some certain star state, just happens.
And inflationary pressures unleashed by the import taxes being imposed by President Donald Trump. I'm going to drop this lower so we can read this together. This coming from President Donald Trump moments ago via Truth Social. It says, quote, I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the U.S. President Donald Trump concluding this statement via Truth Social by saying, quote, thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, Apple, led by CEO Tim Cook, in response to President Trump's tariffs on China, was looking to shift iPhone manufacturing to India as it adjusts its supply chains. That plan has become a festering source of frustration for the U.S. president, who also brought it up last week during his Middle East trip. And as we are further discussing tariffs this morning, we have more information to share with you as it relates to President Donald Trump. This on your screen as President Donald Trump recommends a 50% tariff on the European Union. As we are following the latest on this story, I'm going to drop this.
Steve, why are you gay? Why are you gay?
Slower as well, as we do have a statement from President Donald Trump via Truth Social on this matter. It says, quote, the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. There are powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits
Now, this is
against American
regards
companies, and more have led to a trade deficit.
What's happening right here is now he's not only, of course, he was talking about Apple right there, but now he's also talking about Apple and the European Union, two separate issues here.
With the U.S. for several years. He goes on to say a number which is totally unacceptable, that number there on your screen. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1st, 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States.
Oh,
he also
shit.
concludes this statement by saying,
real quick, Naomi just sent in a 15 spot on the PayPal, by the way. I very much appreciate her saying to buy my man a drink for putting up with my shit. Also, Dono Train. Hey, thank you very much for that. That will definitely go towards some beers later. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for the kind donation to this channel. Very much appreciate it. All right.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So we're following the very latest of Apple and the European Union as it relates to tariff and the trade war with the Trump presidency. Of course, as we get more information on this breaking news alert, you'll get it right here on Live Now from Fox. Stepping aside for a quick 2-minute commercial break.
No, we're
We'll be
not,
right back.
lady. No, we're not, lady. We're not going to some fucking commercial. No. What do you think this is? All right. So now we're going to go and move into the ordeal with what happened. Was this yesterday or the day? I think it was yesterday. My days are kind of getting blended. Where the Israeli, I forget what the actual name of what they were doing. I forget if it's foreign affairs. I forget exactly what it is. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. The embassy, that's what it is. Embassy. I remembered the couple from the embassy in DC. And there's a big ordeal from this. Obviously, there's going to be some backlash. So there's going to be some talks about it. And then Benjamin Netanyahu is going to go ahead and let us know what he thinks. So we're going to get two things here. Back to backers.
8:19 here on the East Coast as we continue with your top stories.
This is the couple.
Headlines this Friday morning. The Chicago man arrested in the murder of 2 Israeli embassy staffers who were planning to be engaged is now facing federal and
They're planning to be engaged like next month. Like he was going to propose to her in Jerusalem next month or something crazy.
local D.C. criminal charges. For more on this developing story, we want to head out to D.C. Checking in with Fox 5 D.C. Stephanie Ramirez this morning. She joins us live at the Capitol Jewish Museum with the latest details. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning to you. And this morning, the question is whether prosecutors will seek the death penalty in this case. Interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Judge Janine Pirro, saying it's too early to say, but they are still investigating. There could be more charges. They're also still investigating this as a terrorist act. I want to show you, though, some of the flowers and the signs left behind outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum for the victims. One reading, "Only peaceful acts will bring peace." Court documents shared describe disturbing details of what happened here, which, by the way, were all caught on the museum's surveillance cameras. Those court documents, they say that the suspects first passed.
Yeah, if people think this is not connected, they're crazy.
26-year-old Sarah
By the
Milner
way,
and 30-year-old
regards to Hamas.
Lashinsky, as they were walking out with a group and then turned around to shoot them from behind. Police say at one point the suspect is seen leaning over their bodies.
And you couldn't even shoot them in their face and be like, you know, like, hey, motherfucker, I'm doing it. You got to do it when they turn their back. Man, what a punk ass bitch. And just so you guys know, this guy, the guy that did this killing, he was actually, I forget what state he's from. He's like Colorado or something. I can't remember exactly. But he bought a ticket 3 hours before some museum thing to get these two and kill these two. He bought a ticket at 3 hours prior, but he like had flown in the day prior from whatever state. I can't remember what state, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's definitely as premeditated gets. More like someone Told you to go do it. You know? We got Hardwire 1%er dropping a 5 spot saying, why? Why are you so gay? Shit, man. Thank you for the 5 spot, by the way. And I realized that I did not do just now. I just realized I did not do a horn, the Don DeMarco for Naomi for her $15 PayPal, by the way. So thank you guys. I very much appreciate your guys' contributions to the channel. You know what I mean? I very much do appreciate it.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. That's right, Frank. He knows the deal. All right, so back to the madness here.
As they were now on the ground and continuing to fire, 21 shell casings were found. The suspect then
That's right, Mr. That's funny.
Inside the museum. This morning, 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez is facing federal charges for the murder of foreign officials and firearms charges, as well as 2-count first-degree murder in D.C. Police say he admitted to the killing, saying, quote, "I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza."
I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza. You did that shit for Hamas.
He later waived his Miranda rights and spoke about apparently being inspired by a man who lit himself on fire in protest outside of the Israeli embassy. This happened in February of last year.
Guess that's not going to play.
So we were hoping to play you some sound, but I will tell you that Judge Janine Pirro spoke yesterday. She called this an act of cowardice. She also said that they're going to continue to investigate this not only as an act of terrorism, but an act of hate as well. Do want to note the victims at the time, they were leaving an event at the museum, right? And we're told that they were standing waiting.
Exactly. They were at some museum. They weren't at the embassy. They were at some museum.
Enter the crosswalk when the suspect had passed them. This shooting happened. We're learning from people that this event included a panel talking about finding humanitarian solutions for Gaza. The court documents also say that the suspect in this case bought a ticket for the event of 3 hours
Man,
before.
the fucking internet again, dude. Are you serious? We were doing so good all the way. We were almost halfway through the freaking morning, and now the internet's going down. Ain't that great? You guys won't be able to not hear me or anything, but you guys, I don't want to have a choppy ass video for you guys either. We got Papa Penguin, by the way. Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic this Friday morning. I know that we definitely are over here. Good to see everyone in here. And yeah, I think we all hate terrorists. That's for damn sure.
It actually flew in from Chicago to DC.
From Chicago. Oh, you flew in from Chicago to DC. I thought it was like something like Colorado or something like that. But hey, Chicago to DC the day prior and then buys a ticket to the museum thing or whatever 3 hours prior to the killing.
Tuesday, and that he did have a firearm with him, declaring it into checked baggage.
So he traveled on Tuesday. This shit happened yesterday. 2 days in advance, basically.
He does have a June 18th date.
Real quick, and she said his court date will be June 18th, so we'll see how that goes. We got Steve Easy saying, no more eyebrows today. It's gay. Hey, well, I very much appreciate you, kind sir. No more brows for the cut, you know what I mean? Shit.
It's not the cap.
But I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Very much appreciate that. Don't be banging on my brows, cuh. Should be whack.
For a next court appearance. I'll send it back into you for now.
Fox 5 DC, Stephanie Ramirez. A lot of eyes on the story, Stephanie. Thank you so much for providing the latest information. Just tragic news. I mean, to learn that they were preparing to be engaged next week. Definitely praying for all those involved. Thank you for you and your team for joining us. I hope you have a great weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. On this story, take a look at your screen. Obviously, a local and international response on this developing story.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do now want to hear from the very latest from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
All right. Now, I told you guys that this was about to happen. So here we go. Let's go ahead and see what the man himself has to say.
A brutal terrorist shot in cold blood.
Real quick, before we do it, we got King Blackout coming in hot with the 3 months, by the way, saying appreciate you, Mike, and all you do. Chat, man, much love and respect, kind sir. I very much appreciate you for 3 months, kind sir. My man, I very much appreciate your contribution to the channel, my man.
A young, beautiful couple, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgram. Yaron had just bought an engagement ring for Sarah. He was planning to give it to her in Jerusalem next week.
Damn.
They were planning to start a new and happy...
It wasn't even next month like I thought. I said, oh, they were going to go get, he was going to propose to her next month. No, I guess it was next week. Damn.
life together. Well, that tragically did not happen.
That sucks.
Yaron and Sarah weren't the victims of a random crime. The terrorist who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews.
Real quick, Steve Easy coming in with the 2 spot, by the way, said, almost forgot the dollar dues. Hey, man, you not only paid for you, but you paid for someone else as well, man. So I very much appreciate the dollar dues. Dues paid, cuh. Very much appreciate that. Yes, sir.
And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October 7th.
Oh, shit.
On that day, thousands of terrorists stormed into Israel from Gaza. They beheaded men. They raped women.
A2Z, what's up? Good
They
morning.
burned babies alive.
Happy Friday.
They butchered 1,200 innocent people and took 251 innocent people hostage to the dungeons of Gaza. A short time afterwards, Chancellor Scholz of Germany visited Israel. And after he saw the horrors, he said to me, "These Hamas terrorists are exactly like the Nazis." He was right.
Oh,
And
shit. You hear that? Holy shit. Let me back that up a little bit. Listen to that again. Let me do that one more again.
Scholz of Germany visited Israel. And after he saw the horrors, he said to me, "These Hamas terrorists are exactly like the Nazis."
These Hamas terrorists are exactly like the Nazis.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Damn.
He was right. And if they could get away with it, these Hamas terrorists would have slaughtered every last Jew on earth. For these neo-Nazis, Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler. They don't want a Palestinian state. They want to destroy the Jewish state. They want to annihilate the Jewish people who've been in the land of Israel for 3,500 years. I could never understand
What's up,
how this
SNS?
simple truth evades the leaders of France, Britain, Canada, and others. They're now proposing to establish a Palestinian state and reward these murderers with the ultimate prize. Well, for 18 years, we had a de facto Palestinian state. It's called Gaza. And what did we get? Peace? No. We got the most savage slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. You won't be surprised to learn that Hamas thanked President Macron and Prime Minister Starmer and Carney for demanding that Israel end its war in Gaza immediately. Hamas was right to thank them, because by issuing their demand, replete with a threat of sanctions against Israel, not Hamas, these three leaders effectively said they want Hamas to remain in power. They want Israel to stand down and accept that Hamas's army of mass murderers will survive, rebuild, and repeat the October 7th massacre again and again and again, because that's what Hamas is vowed to do. I say to President Macron, Prime Minister Carney, and Prime Minister Starmer,
What's up, are we not, man? Good morning.
when mass murderers,
I
rapists,
didn't see it.
baby killers, and kidnappers
No, I didn't skip over shit. I didn't skip over a single comment, homie. Why don't you refresh your chat and see if YouTube fucking censored your comment before I could even see it?
thank you.
Shit.
You're on the wrong side of justice. You're on the wrong side of humanity. And you're on the wrong side of history. Now, these leaders may think that they're advancing peace. They're not. They're emboldening Hamas to continue fighting forever. And they give them hope to establish a second Palestinian state from which Hamas will again seek to destroy the Jewish state. And mind you, it's not going to be a state free of Hamas. When you establish a Palestinian state, we've seen it. The radicals take over. Iran sends them in and they take over. So don't give us this talk. It'll be a peaceful Palestinian state. It won't be.
Oh, shit.
But the hypocrisy doesn't stop there. These and other leaders have bought into Hamas's propaganda that says Israel is starving Palestinian children.
Right. Now that part is lame. To be, especially when you know that that's not happening. And I think it's common now knowledge, but at the time when I was speaking about it, people were like, "Fuck you! They ain't doing shit. They ain't sending it. All this stuff, whatever. They're lying." And then I actually get like video proof, like from inside Gaza and shit. Like, come on, dude. And the amount of tons, like 1.3 million tons of fucking aid is like insane.
And not only is Hamas putting out this lie, A few days ago, a top UN official said that 14,000 Palestinian babies would die in 48 hours. You see, many
What's up,
international
Trigger?
institutions are complicit in spreading this lie. The press repeats it, the mob believed it, and a young couple is then brutally gunned down in Washington. So here are the facts. Since October 7th, Israel has sent 92,000 aid trucks into Gaza. That's right, 92,000
Yeah, 92,000 aid trucks.
aid trucks.
Damn.
That includes 1.8 million tons of aid. 1.8 million tons of aid. More than enough food to feed everyone in Gaza. Yet as we had let the aid come in, Hamas stole it. They took a huge chunk for themselves. The rest they sold at exorbitant prices to
Yeah,
the
that totally sucks, Tiffany. Hopefully you hopefully it's only like 24 hours if you did. But man, that sucks.
Palestinian population. And then they used the money they stole to recruit new terrorists to continue their war against Israel. Our goal from the start was to get food to Palestinian civilians, not to Palestinian terrorists. So we consulted with our American allies. What do we do to prevent Hamas?
Very, very true, Papa. But I want him to say what he's about to say here. I think he's going to talk about how to figure out how to get aid to the people and not have it get stolen.
Not to Palestinian terrorists. So we consulted with our American allies. What do we do to prevent Hamas from looting the aid? Well, together we devised a mechanism to achieve this goal. American companies will distribute the food directly to Palestinian families. They'll do so in safe zone secured by our military. And this will allow us to complete our goal of destroying Hamas while enabling aid to reach the civilian population. We'll complete the construction.
What's up, Blair? Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you.
The first
Hopefully you're
distribution
doing
zones
good.
in the coming days. Ultimately, we intend to have large safe zones in the south of Gaza. And the Palestinian population will move there for their own safety while we conduct combat in other zones and receive humanitarian aid there without Hamas interference. In the meantime, we authorized letting trucks enter Gaza to provide for immediate needs. Yesterday, I think more than 100
And
trucks
my boy Frederick Frame, man. Good morning.
went in. More will come in today.
You guys don't have to like what's happening within the world, man. I promise you don't. But make sure you guys hit the like button for me. And because Mikey likes it, like that's a good enough excuse, right? That should be a good enough excuse. Appreciate it.
I tell you this, no army in the world has ever gone to such lengths to provide aid to the civilian population in the midst of intense combat. And Hamas, of course, opposes this. It shoots Palestinian civilians who want to leave for safe zones, and it shoots Palestinian civilians who want to prevent Hamas terrorists from looting the aid trucks intended for them. As for the hostages, we'll do every effort to secure them. I'm ready for a temporary ceasefire to get more out, but we demand, and you should demand, that all of our hostages be
basically it means just rob them as they leave the safe zone.
released immediately. And so should every civilized country demand this. We're in an intense seven-front war that was launched against us by Iran and its proxies. Sometimes in war, accidents happen. One such incident happened the other day in Jenin, and thankfully no one was hurt. Our military has expressed its regret over the event because we don't target civilians or diplomats. We target terrorists. Exactly the opposite of Hamas. They target civilians, ours, and they hide behind civilians, theirs. They use them as human shields. That's a double war crime. But I don't hear that coming from any one of those countries that criticize Israel. For those who say that Israel stands alone, I say we're not alone. Justice stands with us. The truth stands with us. History stands with us. And so do countless people around the world who can tell the difference between right and wrong, between good and evil. I want to thank all of them. And I especially want to thank President Trump and the American people for their forthright stand with Israel and with the Jewish people. Together we stand, together we'll triumph.
Man, that would be nice to be on that payroll. That would be pretty dope. That would be super nice. Give me a call. We'll make it happen.
And we'll see the victory of civilization over barbarism.
What's up, David? Good morning, by the way, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic this Friday morning. And that was the end of that.
And that was the very latest from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responding to the deadly shooting of the embassy workers there in Washington, D.C. Here at 8:31 on the East Coast, giving you a live look outside of the Jewish Museum there at our nation's capital. We're going to step aside for a quick 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, further dissecting this developing story, we'll have the very latest from officials.
Oh, you see how they snuck a freaking damn commercial on us? Fucking bastards. All right, we're going to skip ahead. DeSantis spoke earlier today, and he went on a humongous diatribe. I mean, humongous. Definitely not something that I'm willing to go ahead and sit through at all. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead. I believe that we have another breaking story here. No, we don't. We do after JD Vance speaks. Okay, so this is, as I do have labeled, I have the, on in the actual title, JD Vance, or Vance delivers Naval Academy commencement speech. So we're going to go ahead and hear a little bit of it. We're not going to listen to the whole damn thing. I'm not interested in listening to him speak to this, select group. Really doesn't have much to do with us personally right here, but hey, it's their ceremony and I respect it, but I don't need to watch every bit of it. You know what I mean? And I don't even need to hear what Vance has to say the entire time either.
I want to say, first of all, thank you all for having me, and thank you especially to Vice Admiral Davids and Captain Allman for your hospitality. Thank you as well, of course, to Secretary Phelan for that great speech, Admiral Kilby, and General Smith for all that you do for our country. First off, I want to say...
Never, Steve. Never. Especially if Netanyahu is speaking.
Both from me and from President Trump, congratulations to the class of 2025.
Yeah, you know what, man? I very much appreciate you appreciating that. You know what I mean? I hope that I'm able to consolidate this shit, fairly fucking well. There's a lot to always, and you never know exactly what you're going to get, obviously. You don't. My mornings each and every single day is breaking. So that's just the way it works. But I do know the bullshit that we do and do not need to really listen to. And I think I very much appreciate you being able to see that, Yes, sir.
I want to say congratulations not just to you all, because you all certainly earned a great honor, but congratulations to the families, the friends, the faculty, plus the other midshipmen and service members who join us on this beautiful morning and share in this incredible day. Now, it's always dangerous to give a politician a microphone, but I know that I am one of the very last things standing between you and your commission and your diploma. And so, out of respect, I just want you to know that...
Yo, Christopher Collins, good morning and happy Friday. TGIF to everybody, by the way. Fucking weekend's here, baby.
This is only going to be...
I guess for most people, the weekend actually starts on Friday evening. That's usually when it starts for most people. So
be a 3.5 or 4 hour speech. I hope you all brought your sunscreen because it's bright out here. But today is such an incredible day for you. Tonight, you'll celebrate in the finest tradition of the United States Naval Academy with great food and, of course, maybe a little drink.
Come on, Vance.
But I hope that as you celebrate, you remember that this is not just your day, as hard as you have worked for it. This day belongs to parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, brothers, sisters, and so many others. You, all of you, are the product of an incredible legacy. People who worked hard to give you a good education, food on the table, and a sense of possibility.
Yo, my man, Damien. My man, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. It's been a minute, but always good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing great on this Friday morning.
Who took you to church, to practices, to tutoring sessions. People who prayed for you when you struggled and celebrated with you at moments just like today. Most of you are fortunate enough to have someone here to celebrate with you. Some of you don't. But whether they are here with you or not, the very best piece of advice I can give you is to begin your life in the fleet with a spirit of gratitude. Be thankful for all the people gathered here today and those who aren't, because they made you who you are and they got you to where you are today. And
oh, man. Naomi's calling it out. We got a big win in the chat for everybody. Throw up the wins. 31 likes and 31 in chat. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys and your engagement, man. Hopefully we're giving it back in value. You know what I mean?
And I hope you'll take from that gratitude a sense of duty. You owe it to the American people, to yourselves, but most of all to the people who sacrificed so hard to get you here. You owe it to them to do the best job you can, and I know that is exactly what you're going to do. Now, it's customary in speeches like this for people like me to offer words of congratulations and maybe a little bit of advice. Of course, I just did exactly that. But you're not just graduates of some random university about to embark on careers in the private sector. And I'm not just giving another political speech. I'm your vice president. And the minute
every speech is another political speech. You know that. Come on.
Walk off this stage with your diploma and your commission, you will be officers in the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps. And
which is dope, by the way.
It's an incredible thing.
That is an incredible thing. Damn straight. That's realistically, do I actually want some shit like that? No, I don't.
You will be leaders of men and women in our armed forces. So while President
What's the name of it?
Trump and I congratulate you on this incredible achievement, I also thought it would be appropriate to tell you a bit about how the president and I think of your mission in this new and very dangerous era for our country. Now, last week, the president took a very historic trip to the Middle East, meeting with heads of state in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Most of the headlines focused on the trillions of dollars of new investment the president secured for our country, and that's, of course, an important thing.
Fucking A, absolutely.
But I actually think the most significant part of that trip is that it signified the end of a decades-long approach in foreign policy
that part is very true.
I think was a break from the precedent set by our founding fathers. We had a long experiment in our foreign policy that traded national defense and the maintenance of our alliances for nation building and meddling in foreign countries' affairs, even when those foreign countries had very little to do with core American interests. What we're seeing from President Trump is a generational shift in policy with profound implications for the job that each and every one of you will be asked to do. Now, following the collapse of the Soviet Union, our policymakers assumed that American primacy on the world stage was guaranteed. For a brief time, we were a superpower without...
Yo, my man Clovertack coming in hot with the 10 spot, by the way, saying the big, beautiful bill passed the House with the Hearing Protection Act included. Yes, it did. Please contact your senators. Tell them to keep the HPA in there and add back the Short Act. Then get it all passed. Yes, sir. Very much appreciate that 10 spot, man. Good to see you this morning, and hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. So I very much appreciate your contribution, your very kind contribution to the channel, man. Very much appreciate that. We're going to light up to that. Yes, sir.
Any peer, nor did we believe any foreign nation could possibly rise to compete with the United States of America. And so our leaders traded...
Yo, brother Bob up there in Canada. Good morning, kind sir.
...hard power for soft power. We stopped making things, everything from cars to computers to the weapons of war, like the ships that guard our waters and the weapons that you will use in the future. Why did we do that? Well, too many of us believed that economic integration would naturally lead to peace by making countries like the People's Republic of China more like the United States. Over time, we were told the world would converge.
Trigger warning, that's my favorite. Breakfast burritos, man, I geek out on them.
Toward a uniform set of bland, secular, universal ideals, regardless of culture or country. And those that didn't want to converge, well, our policymakers would make it their goal to force them by any means necessary. So instead of devoting our energies to responding to the rise of near-peer competitors like China, our leaders pursued what they assumed would be easy jobs for the world's preeminent superpower. How hard could it be to build a few democracies in the Middle East? Well, almost impossibly hard, it turns out, and unbelievably costly. And it wasn't our politicians who bore the consequences of...
You know, I have actually done that. Yes, I have done it. 100%. It's actually happened. I can't remember if it was from a bonfire or if I was lighting a cigarette or something like that. And I can't remember exactly what happened. It was a long time ago, but I did do that before. Yes.
Such a profound
Burnt the shit out of one.
It was the American people to the tune of trillions of dollars, but more than anyone, it was borne by the people who were in your shoes just a few short years ago, by our service members and their families. The tens of thousands of warfighters who sacrificed precious time, energy, and in some cases, their very lives in the line of duty. They are the ones who bore the costs of past failure. Our leaders abandoned clearly stated strategic goals for lofty, often incoherent abstractions. This is how, for example, we wound up chasing a $230 million pier in Gaza that worked for a grand total of 20 days while injuring over 60 American service members in the construction and maintenance of that pier.
I like that thought, Beezer. He says, Mike, throw Vance on an auto-tune. Yeah, and make it a little easier to listen to.
Took its eye off the ball of great power competition.
Dude, there's only one way. You gotta have salsa to add on, and then you throw the tapatio on top of it. That's what you gotta do. It's always tapatio with your breakfast burrito. You're right. Absolutely.
Preparing to take on a peer adversary, and instead, we devoted ourselves to sprawling, amorphous tasks like searching for new terrorists to take out while building up faraway regimes. Now, I want to be clear. The Trump administration has reversed course. No more undefined missions. No more open-ended conflicts. We're returning to a strategy grounded in realism and protecting our core national interests. Now, this doesn't mean that we ignore threats, but it means that we approach them with discipline, and that when we send you to war...
Louisiana hot sauce. Oh my goodness, trigger warning. What are you eating? Freaking some Buffalo Wild Wings over there? Oh my God. True white boy over there.
Do it with a very specific set of goals in mind. And consider how this played out in just the last major conflict we engaged in with the Houthis over in the Middle East. We went in with a clear diplomatic goal, not to enmesh our service members in a prolonged conflict with a non-state actor.
Cholula. That's what you're thinking of.
Secure American freedom of navigation by forcing the Houthis to stop attacking American ships. And that's exactly what we did.
Too spicy for the gringo. That's hilarious. We're about to skip through ahead of JD Vance now. We've heard enough. I told you guys I wasn't going to listen to the entire freaking thing. It's a little too monotone even for a guy like me. You know what I mean? We got Gunpowder Nitro. Good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. We are going to skip ahead. I know that we have some, because he does go on a diatribe there for quite a while. We do have some breaking news. Harvard sues Trump administration over ban on enrolling foreign students.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Emotional damage. Stupid.
Oh, boy. Already a great headline, huh? Let's go ahead and get into it.
10:50 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, and good morning to you. If you're just now tuning in, I'm Gina Francine. Right now, we are getting some breaking news into our Live Now from Fox studios. Take a look at your screen. The latest information we are getting from the Associated Press. As they report this Friday, Harvard University is challenging the Trump administration's decision to bar the Ivy League school from enrolling foreign students, calling it unconstitutional retaliation for defying the White House's political demands. In a lawsuit filed this Friday in federal court in Boston, Harvard said the government's actions violate the First Amendment and will have a, quote, immediate and devastating effect for Harvard.
How does that stop freedom of speech? What are you talking about?
And more than 7,000 visa holders. Right now, I want to share with you the latest on X from Harvard. As they say, with the stroke of a pen, the government has sought to erase a quarter of Harvard's student body, international students who contribute significantly to the university and its mission. Harvard saying that in the suit. They go on to say, and you see it here on your screen.
What's up, Pablo, by the way? Good morning to you.
Quote, without its international students, Harvard is not Harvard, end quote. The school filing for a temporary restraining order to block the Department of Homeland Security from carrying out the move. The move has thrown campus into disarray days before graduation. Harvard said in the suit, international students who run labs, teach courses, assist professors, and participate in Harvard sports are now left deciding whether to transfer or risk losing legal status to stay in the country. That coming from the filing as well. The impact is heaviest at graduate schools such as Harvard Kennedy School, where almost half the student body comes from abroad. And
yeah,
Harvard
David, no kidding. How woke of them.
Business School, which is about 1/3 international. Along with its impact on current students, the move blocks thousands of students who are planning to come for summer and fall classes. Harvard saying it immediately puts the school at a disadvantage as it competes for the world's top students. Even if it regains the ability to host students, they say future applicants may shy away from applying out of fear of further reprisals from the government. That also being said.
Well, yeah, that's the argument. Gunpowder Nitro is you shouldn't have your God-given rights taxed. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yes, sir.
in the suit. This is a developing story. Make sure to stay tuned to Live Now from Fox for the latest developments. We're going to step aside for a quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back.
No, hell no, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to skip right through that shit. All right, we're going to find out what's this.
On this Friday, they host a news conference on the recent Capitol Jewish Museum attack. You all know that happened in Washington, D.C. Let's listen in.
Oh, man. This is going to be a lot. This whole hour is going to be filled with small hat stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and move it on ahead if we have any other breaking. I just want to see. We do not. We have no more breaking. This is actually still going on live right now. So we're going to watch a little bit just to hear the opening statement here, and then we'll pretty much close it up for the morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is David Goldenberg, and I am the Midwest Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. ADL was founded here in Chicago in 1913 with a mission to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. I'm incredibly grateful for my colleagues standing with me today, and even more for our friends and allies who continue to show up for the Jewish community at a time when we need them most. Our hearts are broken for the victims and the families of the Capitol Jewish Museum attack, and we are united in supporting the entire...
So, the museum was a Jewish museum they were at too? I mean, I don't have an issue with that, but I didn't know that they worked at the embassy and they were at a Jewish museum when this happened.
Entire AJC and diplomatic families. Now, let's be clear. No hedging, no buts, no caveats, no linguistic contortionism. There are no two sides to Wednesday's hate-fueled murders in Washington, D.C. The Capitol Jewish Museum attack was an act of pure, unadulterated anti-Semitism, full stop. The deadly shooting of Sarah and Yaron is the latest example of how anti-Semitic hate, fueled by extreme anti-Israel rhetoric and movements, is escalating.
You'd be good too out there, Frederick. Always appreciate you and hanging out with us.
In the real world and into real world violence. This was not a spontaneous act. It was premeditated. It was ideologically motivated. And it was part of a disturbing trend of terrorism targeting Jewish institutions and individuals around this country. The victims were targeted for no other reason than they were attending a Jewish event at a Jewish museum in celebration of Jewish American History Month.
Ironic, trying to stop anti-Semitism and then get murked. That's terrible.
Words have consequences. When anti-Semitic rhetoric is normalized, when it's tolerated, when it's amplified in our public discourse, it creates an environment where violence against Jews becomes more likely. When we allow lies about the Jewish state committing a genocide to run rampant, when we dismiss graffiti that says glory to the martyrs as youthful free speech, when we claim globalize the Intifada is a rally cry for Palestinian statehood, and when we somehow confuse being pro-Palestinian with being pro-Hamas.
I would imagine being that it's a museum in D.C., yeah, I would imagine it would be a gun-free zone. I would imagine.
It has consequences.
I don't know that to be the answer.
It's already led to Jewish students on campus being attacked in libraries and on the quad.
I think so.
As we saw at DePaul and at Northwestern, at UIC, and at the University of Chicago. It's already led to Jews walking to synagogue with their children being shot at, as we saw in West Rogers Park. And Jewish businesses, synagogues, and schools attacked and vandalized.
Much love, Brother Lee. We'll see you on the flip side, my man. Always appreciate you as well.
As we saw happen just under 200 times here in Illinois.
Shit, real quick, we got Brother Dean as well as we got Stephanie up in here as well. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your guys' Friday morning. I know that we definitely are over here, and a great start to your weekend.
2024 alone. Now, we have this tragic murder of two innocent young people in the prime of their lives. In fact, this was the 8th terrorist plot or attack targeting Jews, so-called Zionists, or Jewish institutions since July of 2024.
Damn.
Our community is sad and angry because in so many ways, this tragedy was inevitable. We cannot ignore that the threat landscape is changing. We are seeing lone actors radicalized online, often glorified by extremist groups, carry out targeted attacks against Jews and Jewish institutions. Just look at the online responses from extremist groups across the political spectrum who are celebrating the murder of Sarah and Yaron and even calling for more. Unity of Fields, formerly known as Palestine Action US, that had a strong presence here in Chicago. It's a far-left anti-Zionist, quote-unquote, direct action network that supports targeting of Zionist individuals and institutions. They commented on X, "We ain't condemning shit." The Bronx Anti-War Coalition, a radical New York-based anti-Israel group, wrote on X, what Elias Rodriguez did is the highest expression of anti-Zionism. Remember that. When you hear the term in Chicago, anti-Zionist, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm just anti-Zionist. This is what this group said. In a similar post on its Telegram channel, the group added, we need more Elias Rodriguez in the world. So when those of you in the media report about that, understand in their echo chambers, this is what they're saying. And unsurprisingly, far-right extremist spaces have also responded to the shooting by celebrating the deaths of victims. Some cheered their perceived enemies.
That legitimately does suck.
Fighting each other. As one white supremacist wrote, rejoice when your enemies kill each other. ADL and many of the groups represented here today are tracking this surge in hate and working every day to confront it head-on through education, through advocacy, through partnerships with elected officials, and through agreements with law enforcement. But it's not enough. And we cannot do it on our own. First, violence targeting Jews should be condemned unequivocally and without a but, and then prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Second, leaders need to stop tolerating hate in the guise of activism.
What's up, Pablo, my man?
When anti-Semitism is normalized, tragedy follows. Now, look, this is a major problem here in Chicago. And too many of our elected and civic leaders have not only been—
Absolutely, my man. Stick around tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is going to be members only live for us. So we're going to be going into something pretty where we need to be uncensored, quite a bit. So I very much appreciate you guys hanging out and being with us in the Breakfast Club. And Steve is definitely one of them. But you be safe out there, bro. We'll see you on the flip side. And guys, we're about to wrap up what he's about to say right here at this end. And then we're going to go ahead and raid. It looks like Black Dragon's still live. So we'll go ahead and raid him if he's still live when we end this.
Been silent on the issue, but some continue to fan the flames of hate and anti-Semitism. ADL has tracked a more than 400% increase in harassment, vandalism, and violent incidents targeting Chicago's Jewish community just over the last 18 months. And it will require real leadership and accountability to douse that fire. And lastly, we need policymakers, tech platforms, and civic leaders to recognize and confront this growing domestic terror.
What, by censorship? That's the exact opposite of what you would actually want.
Threat targeting Jewish communities. How many more times do we have to come together for a press conference to call attention?
See, I'm all about freedom of speech, but when you're going for active violence, when you're you're actually, with your rhetoric, yeah, you can get somebody killed with your rhetoric. And this is exactly why I say anybody that has a platform, we have a responsibility to not just be spurting at the mouth, which I think that you guys know a lot of these streamers out here that do this kind of work or whatever, they're very reckless with what they say, which to me is a pretty dumb thing to do. You know what I mean? But listen, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us this beautiful morning. We're going to go ahead and make sure that Black Dragon is still live. You know what I mean? He may be, knowing him, he ends right around the same time that I kind of end. We will go ahead and see. It looks like he's still chatting it up there. So we'll go ahead and send it on over. With that being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for being members. Tomorrow morning will be the whole reason, for us to give back to you guys, man. And we're going to have a good ass time. So if I don't see you guys then, we'll see you guys Monday morning for more of the world's madness. As always, be safe out there. Enjoy your guys' weekend, and God bless everyone. Much love, honor, and respect, everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.